Well, Elaine is a Jersey girl.
Yeah.
And comes from a very musical family. Both parents played the piano. Her dad was a concert violinist, I never get that word right, teacher of music and foreign languages, and a wonderful voice. Their maternal grandfather lived with them. He also was a concert pianist. When Aunt Catherine came over, she sang and played the piano. Her 4 siblings also are musically talented. So you can just imagine what that household was like all the time. I can't, but it must have been exciting. Elaine decided that she wanted to become a full-time musician, and that was in the 70s. And she has been a success ever since. More than 22 recording projects, thousands and thousands of touring miles. And I think you said it's 45 years since you've been doing this. Elaine is the recipient of a Garden State Music Award for Outstanding Folk Performer. She has appeared in concert with Arlo Guthrie, Pete Seeger, who I know many people here like, Tom Chapin, and this is just to name a few. Elaine moved to Florida in 2000, and since then, her life has evolved into metaphysical musical ministry. She often fills in for the ministers of New Thought Centers and other progressive centers, as ours is. She has worked with many best-selling authors, Alan Cohen, Deepak Chopra, Wayne Dyer, who I know passed away a couple of years ago, he lost many of us, Marianne Williamson, and this is just, again, to name a few. She has many acclaimed recordings, which continue to receive rave reviews. And now, as she often does, sings a cappella or accompanies herself on the guitar and sometimes the banjo. We have not heard you on the banjo.
I think it's retired.
Oh, okay.
But you can hear it on some of the albums.
Oh, good. There you go. And she's performed in concerts at colleges, festivals, churches, clubs, children's events throughout North America and Europe. You are a very busy lady, for sure. And with that said, backed by popular demand, I present Reverend Fairy Elaine Silver in the joy of being. There you go. So good to hear.
So I'm here too.
Excited.
So, today the program is titled The Joy of Being, and it just came to me one day, like, I'll create a program called The Joy of Being. And so we're going to start with a song called Enjoy Every Moment. And just for a little introduction, I used to have an adopted Jewish mom. She and I adopted each other as spiritual mother and daughter. She had a beautiful 189-acre mountaintop retreat in northern New Jersey, right near Easton, Pennsylvania, called Mount Eden Retreat. She was born in Bronx, in Mount Eden Hospital, on Mount Eden Drive or Road or something like that. But she passed away. She actually passed away on a Friday, like at sundown, which is perfect. Elaine. And but she often would say, "Enjoy every moment." And so when she started saying that, I was like, how can you enjoy every moment? That sounds like a lie. That's an absolute. There are very few absolutes. But then we started saying it. We started saying, enjoy every moment. We were just September 12th, 2014. So it's been a while now, but right before, the last time I saw her, we had a little event at Mount Eden. We used to have a big festival, and we just had a little one, and she was so happy. I will do that next year. And she was so happy, but she really didn't have a lot of energy, and we didn't really know it was her final days, but somebody asked me, this beautiful 189-acre mountain, what was Elaine's favorite place? Mount Eden. And I said, I think the sofa. So we're going to sing Enjoy Every Moment. What I wanted to say was I had just gotten home from 2 months, and I knew that there had been an episode earlier in the day. She was in the hospital. I was home for 15 minutes, and I got the call. She passed. So, and she was Jewish, but they held the funeral for me to come on Monday. And in the plane, I wrote the song. So your part goes like this. Enjoy every moment. Enjoy your life. Enjoy every moment. Shine your light. Let's try that one. Enjoy every moment. Enjoy your life. Enjoy your life. Enjoy every moment. Shine your light. Shine your light. Enjoy every moment. Enjoy what's here. Enjoy what's here. When you enjoy every moment, the truth is clear. The truth is clear. Good. The love of God is blessing you. The light of God protects. The power of God is watching. God's presence redirects you to enjoy every moment. Enjoy your life. Enjoy every moment. Shine your light. Shine your light. Enjoy every moment. Enjoy what's here. Enjoy what's here. Enjoy every moment. The truth is clear. Life is good, getting better. I'm laughing, seals the deal. Ha ha ha. And one thing about Elaine, she loved hugs. She even had a bumper sticker on her car that said, hugs are the best exercise. Reach out now to one another, with hugs that help you heal. Enjoy every moment. Enjoy your life. Enjoy every moment. Shine your light. Enjoy every moment. What's here? Enjoy what's here. Enjoy every moment. The truth is here. My Jewish mom, Elaine's now gone. These were her wise words. Share them now with peace and love. I know that you've learned to enjoy every moment. Enjoy your life. Enjoy every moment. Shine your light. Enjoy every moment. Enjoy what's here. Enjoy every moment. The truth is clear. Enjoy every moment. Right. The truth is clear. All right. Okay, so the joy of being. I'm going to put the guitar down. I have a lot to say at first. We're going to have a lot of music. So, just let me have a little sip here. So, I wanted to define the word joy. You know, whenever I write a new program, a lot of times I'll, okay, well, what does that word mean? What does Webster have to say? So, it's a feeling of great pleasure or happiness, and happiness too. The expression or exhibition of such emotion, gaiety, a state of happiness or felicity, bliss, a source or cause of delight. So those are nice things to feel, aren't they? So, and the definition of being, because it's the joy of being. And so the definition of being is existence. Your being. The nature or essence of a person. The nature or essence of a person. And you know, I'm a science of mind licensed practitioner. One of the things we talk about is that everything that exists in the seen and the unseen world is made of that same essence or presence or substance. And you can call it God, you can call it goddess, you can call it light, energy, higher power, infinite wisdom, whatever you want to call that, whatever that is, that's everything. And then it shows up in different expressions, like each one of us is an individualizing extension or expression of this source energy, like a giant sun with infinite rays. Each one of us is, like I like to say, I'm made of that substance. All of me is made of it, but I'm not all of it. That's why we get to be individualized. And because we're human beings, like we're human spirits, the gift that we have, you've heard of that thing called free will? We get to choose. We get to make the choices. And so that's, we get to be responsible for how we behave in the world, or misbehave. So one day, about 20 years ago, it occurred to me that joy is my job. J-O-B, the joy of being. And then, I didn't realize when I decided I was going to do this program, I forgot about, oh yeah, it's my job, the joy of being. And I enjoy knowing that I'm an uplifter. That's my job. I come and I uplift people, either if it was singing, or sometimes I could be funny. Sometimes I get fairy blessings, and that kind of raises the energy. I sprinkle people with magic dust. I don't do that so much anymore, but but it helps people to feel better with joy and laughter. And we all know that laughter is the what? The best medicine. Yeah. And so according to Maya Angelou, she says, joy is a freedom. It helps the person to find his or her own liberation. Freedom, liberation. The person who is joyous takes responsibility for the time they take up in the space that they occur, or that where they occupy. And so, this they thing. I'm he, she, anyway, I want to be politically correct. So when you're feeling that, you share it. You share it. Some of you have it, you share it. This is what joy is. When you continue to give it away, you still have so much of it. It gets bigger. It gets bigger. That's the law of circulation also. You give it, you get it. You give it, you get it. And then I did a little bit more research on joy, and this is what Google has to say. Whenever you do research, right, you Google it. So number one, what is the psychological meaning of joy? Joy is the state of being that allows one to experience feelings of intense, long-lasting happiness and satisfaction of life. It is closely related to and often invoked by well-being, success, good fortune, happiness, pleasure, gratitude, bliss. They're all closely related to joy, but they're not identical to it, but they are high-frequency feelings. And that's what you want to strive for, the high-frequency feelings. And then there's another question. What are the 3 types of joy? I didn't know there were 3 types of joy. There are 3 things that joy could be referred to as. Number 1, an emotional state. So when you're enjoying, when you're in joy, it's within, and then the outburst is the enjoy. So we're in joy, and then we show it outwardly by enjoying. Enjoy every moment. The disposition or trait. Laughing, smiling. And the last one is, this is where I'm going to go more deeply now, is the spiritual fruit. Spiritual fruit. And in science of mind, one of the things that we say is joy is another word for God or spirit or light or power, or whatever you want, but another word for that high vibrational frequency is joy. And there's also these other words: love, light, peace, power, beauty, and wisdom. And these were, according to Thomas Troward. Has anybody here ever heard of Thomas Troward? He lived from the mid-1800s to 1916, and he was an English author whose works on mental science influenced the New Thought movement and mystic Christianity. And for me in particular, the influence on Ernest Holmes, who was known as the father of the science of mind, New Thought philosophy, and I'm a licensed practitioner in that pathway. So, all the ministers, whether they can be a science of mind or religious science minister, they're all practitioners, because that's where you really learn how to invoke the laws and just know the truth and stand in the truth. So these 7 words, love, life, peace, power, beauty, wisdom, and joy, have been with me for over 30 years when I first started studying this. I memorized them, and they've had a really good effect on me. It was just return to those words. And there's other words, too, that you can use for that power. But those are the ones that I kind of hang on to. And they have allowed me to remain in the New Thought principle of that God is all there is. Everything that's made is made of that essence, that substance. And God is all there is. That expression is also the first step in spiritual mind treatment, which is called scientific prayer. There's 5 steps. And the first 2 steps are about kind of a meditation. And so first thing you do is you get into a place where you're recognizing that God, or whatever you want to call it, is all there is. And if God, or whatever, is all there is, then each one here is also made of that. And then the second step is called unification. So, we're always unified with what we are, but not always consciously. So we get consciously aware that God and I are one. And those first 2 steps are more like a meditation. And then you affirm what it is you're praying for, you have a gratitude step, then you release it and let it go. And it's very powerful. So I wanted to sing this song with you about that power. And it's called There's a Power. And when I first started studying this philosophy in Morristown, New Jersey, we moved to Brookside, but we started in Morristown. In the Friendship Hall downstairs, there was a lectern for classes, and right over here was a picture of Ernest Holmes. And one of his most famous quotations, which said, "There's a power for good in the universe, and you can use it." And that's helped me too. There's a power for good. And there is no power of bad or evil. There's a misuse of the power where the ego gets involved. But there's only one power, right? You've heard that. There's only one power. There's not a power. There may be an apparently looking evil force, but that's somebody's ego. There's only one power, and then there's a derangement or an inversion of that, and always ego. So anyway, there's power for good in the universe. And then I added, and you can use it, then I added, if you choose it, because we're always in that place of choice. As human spirits, right? We're always in choice. There's a power for good in the universe, and you can use it right now. And then we might sing, and I can use it. So we'll start. There's a power for good in the universe, and you can use it if you choose it. There's a power for good in the universe, and you can use it right now. And that power for good, where is the point of power? Does anybody know where the point of power is? The time of power? It's here and now. Okay, let's try this. There's a power for good in the universe, and you can use it if you choose it. There's a power for good in the universe, and you can use it right now. One more time. There's a power for good in the universe, and you can use it if you choose it. There's a power for good in the universe, and you can use it right now. now present moment. Just remember, that's where the power is, right now, right here. And Anita Clark. There's a power. So anybody here ever heard of Abraham Hicks? Abraham Hicks? Oh, fantastic. It's a famous teacher. And it's actually a group of non-physical beings that come through this woman, Esther Hicks. And her husband, Jerry Hicks, he passed away, but he was always so curious. He had all these questions, and just questions, and they got turned on to the sex material, and then all of a sudden Esther, who was just open, and no resistance, started to, you could say, channel this voice. First it came out like this, and then it was like typing, and she's been doing it since the 80s. And they never advertised, it's just been through word of mouth. And so, really powerful. And at first, when I first heard of it, I was like, I don't know, I'm not into that channeling stuff. But it kept showing up for me. It kept showing up here and there. People would mention it, I'd read about it. And then one day, I was looking at Natural Awakenings magazine in Sarasota, and there was this Abraham Hicks group that was meeting a couple blocks from my house. I could walk there. So I'm like, okay. And Alan Cohen, somebody a wonderful author that I work with a lot, he was the one that started talking about it first. And then I get the cassette tapes back then. This was in the early 90s and stuff. You could borrow them, and I would listen to them, and it was really helpful. It was very empowering, about 2003. And the teaching of Abraham, which includes the universal law of attraction, that was the whole big thing, the law of attraction. And it had there was always the law of attraction, but this had a huge global introduction through the book and the movie The Secret. How many people remember that? Well, that started out, there was going to be a TV series in Australia on the law of attraction starring Abraham, but it got mixed up, and that didn't happen. They went a different way. It's a big story. So that secret book came out. So the law of attraction, it's huge. It's huge in how we're using that universal law to co-create or manifest what it is we want to bring into existence. And what we focus on is bigger, whether we like it or not. So if you want to manifest or attract or create more joy, have that be an intention. If you want more money, have that be an intention. And you might want to say, well, why do I want that? What is it about more joy that will make me feel good? What is it about more money? Well, then I can have freedom. But there's always layers to get to below that. So you can have freedom and all that stuff without money, but it helps. So I did want to acknowledge another universal law that's really the mother law. Like people were saying, the law of attraction, that's the mother law of the universal law, but it's really the law of vibration. And so if we're aware, and we can be thinking something, but if we're feeling something else, it's a mixed message, so we may not get the result that we want. So it's good to see how we're feeling, see how we're vibrating. And in Science of Mind, one of the main mantras is change your thinking, change your life. And a belief, Abraham said this, a belief is just a thought we keep thinking, or it's just something we keep hearing, and it could be a big lie we keep hearing, and people start believing it, right? You know about that one. Yeah. There's a lot of them, like virgin birth, women came from a man's rib. I mean, come on. So there are techniques for cultivating joy. Notice what we're focusing on and how we're feeling. Notice what we want. See what we have. What we have is what we consciously or unconsciously are sending out messages for. So if you don't like what you have, change your thinking about it. See if you can move into a higher frequency. Now I had to start, I'm so into politics these days. I mean, I listen and watch these YouTubes and I know all the stuff that's going on. Because everybody in my family is the opposite of me. My one sister would say, well, you don't know anything. And I'm like, oh, really? And so I had to get educated. But I started noticing that I wasn't feeling good. So in order for me to kind of change that around, I started watching these podcasts called Sitting with Dogs.
Oh, yes.
And I was never a dog person. Now I love dogs. And I know how to get around them. I start channeling Rocky. Oh, that feel good. Oh, what a good dog. You're a good dog. And dogs like me. And I'm really more of a cat person, but what do dogs do? They make you feel happy.
Yeah.
So that's really helped. Yeah. Sitting with Dogs. Check it out. He goes to shelters, and if there's a dog that he sees that's sitting all the way in the back, maybe shivering or frozen or doesn't look right, he'll go and he'll sit with the dog a little bit and give him or her treats, and eventually they'll make friends. And it gives the dog something to feel better about. It can help that dog get adopted. So I'm very grateful for Rocky Kanaka. So to bring out more joy, more prosperity, community, health and well-being, peace, relationships, whatever it is you want. Well, you can put your order in, but you also have to be supportive of what you want. And noticing what you have is good. Because then you can either do that more or you can make a change in your thinking and your feeling. It's a powerful message to think something and feel into it. The universe says yes to that. We're going to move on to a different subject, but it is still on the law of attraction. I lived in West Palm Beach for 4 years for my husband's job, from mid-14 to mid-18. And there was a group there, a group of women called Women's Spiritual Circle, and we used to meet once a month, just so women could get more involved in spirituality. And we would meet, we'd have lunch, we'd have this lady's beautiful home, and people would put questions into a hat, and then they'd pick up, and people would, I always had something to say, whatever we talked about. And then when COVID hit, it became a 45-minute a week phone call, and now for years it's been an hour, 45 to an hour, weekly Zoom. And if any women here are interested, you're welcome to come on the Zoom. It's Tuesdays from 11 to like quarter to 12. So there's a minister, a New Thought minister, Reverend Sandra Marchman, and when we were still on the phone, she said, gratitude, that's another one of those high frequency feelings. Gratitude invokes the law of increase. I'm like, wow, yeah, I write it down. I hadn't heard it that way, but it's a law of attraction. What we focus on is bigger. You focus on gratitude, it increases. You focus on negativity, it increases. You focus on joy, whatever. And so during COVID, now this happened during COVID, we were on the phone, and I was at least 2 to 4 times a month on Wednesday nights at Unity Church in Sarasota. We had this music and inspiration, started with the new minister, who was also a musician. And so only the same 10 people were allowed in the building for like a year and a half. And so Wednesday nights, it was me and another musician to do the music for this meditation. And it was all on the Daily Word. Have you heard of that? I want to talk a little bit about it. It's a magazine, and there's a word, and then they have an affirmation and a little reading on it. So the word one day was enthusiasm. And actually, whenever I was presenting or performing at these things, I had to come up with 4 songs that had to do with whatever the daily word was for that day. And some of the songs I already had. I have a lot of songs that work. And here I am in COVID, and I'm in Florida, so right when COVID started, now I had to quit Pilates reformer, I had to quit aerobics because they closed the YMCA.
Yeah.
But my husband, thank you, Jane, he got my bicycle out of his shed and brought it over to the bike shop, and this was right in the beginning. And new tires, tune up everything, put a bell on it, and within a few weeks you couldn't get an appointment at the bike store, especially in March, in Florida, because everybody thought, oh, I'm going to ride a bike. And so I was riding that bike, and I wrote so many songs on that bike, and I wrote this one, and it's called Lifted and Feeling Free, and inspired by enthusiasm, which can feel very joyful, And it's a little country song, so if I do decide to record it, it'll have fiddles and maybe some banjo in it. Gratitude evokes a loving breeze. Gratitude brings the bitter peace. Knowing this truth enthusiastically, I'm lifted and feeling free. Joy invokes a loving breeze. Focus on the good intentions. I am lifted and I'm feeling free. I'm loving my life enthusiastically. Love invokes a loving breeze. Loving myself brings me peace. And knowing this truth enthusiastically, lifted and feeling free. So the park near my house, Arlington Park, we have 2 dog parks. Can I be on that bike? No mask. I'm outside. No mask. On the bike. Ringing the bell. Excuse me. People, because there's a big dog park and a small dog park and a lot of dogs. And I'd be like, good morning. Good morning. And ring, 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 ring. Excuse me. Get out of the path. Oh, what a cute dog. And I know people are going, oh, there's that, because every morning, like an hour, there's that crazy lady on the bike again. There she is with her dog. And then people say, oh, I like when you ring the bell. Kindness invokes the love and grace. Do unto others as a sacred peace. I am lifted and I'm feeling free. And knowing this truth enthusiastically. Gratitude invokes the love and grace. Gratitude brings me inner peace. And knowing this truth enthusiastically. I'm lifted and I'm feeling free. Try that with me. I'm lifted and I'm feeling free. Like this. Yeah! On the bike. Lifted and I'm feeling. So I would do that. Lifted and I'm feeling free. Not good. Lifted and I'm feeling free. What a joyful feeling. Lifted and I'm feeling. One more. Lifted and I'm feeling free. Yeah. All right. All right, so I'm going to put this down for a second. The daily word, I mentioned it. And, I just created this program this last week, so, and I get the daily word every day. Well, Monday through Friday. No, it comes every day. And so whatever it is, I read it usually. Sometimes I just read the word and a little affirmation, but I always save them. I have like about 4 or 5 programs I could do called these daily words. But last Monday, August 12th, the daily word was joy. And I'm creating this program with joy, so I wanted to share it with you. And so the affirmation is, living in joy keeps me rooted in God, or rooted in spirit, or rooted in the light, whatever you want to call it. And then the little reading is, even during the most trying times, I need never forego the feeling of deep joy when I remain centered in spirit. Remain centered in spirit. Joy is not a mood, and it is so much more than a feeling. It is one of my spiritual gifts, an aspect of my divine inheritance. I can meet life's difficulties with joy and serenity. I draw upon my indwelling joy in the same way I will draw water from a well. Even though I might not find the water on the surface, I trust if I reach for it, I will find it beneath the surface. The same thing is true of joy. Even though there may not appear to be things for which to feel joy, I can find them if I look. Maybe if you're not up to joy, even gratitude. Oh, I woke up today. I have air to breathe. I have a house. I have shelter. I have food, whatever. And that'll kind of help build up the joy if that's your goal. So I trust joy is in the love beyond the pain, the health beyond the illness, and the forgiveness beyond the hurt. In joy, I find God in you. So that's somebody's interpretation of joy. And so I wanted to sing this, it's a Sufi song. You know, Sufi, the dances of the universal peace, if some of you are familiar with it. And it's called Softening. And it says, I am filled with the light of 1,000 angels, softening my way, softening my way. And again, I am filled with the light of 1,000 angels, softening my way to thee. Now, whoever thee is, it could be anybody. Now comes on. I am filled with the light of 1,000 angels, softening my way, softening my way. Let's try that. I am filled with the light of 1,000 angels, softening my way, softening my way. The second part. I am filled with the light of 1,000 angels, softening my way to thee. Try the whole thing. I am filled with the light of 1,000 angels, softening my way, softening my way. I am filled with the light of 1,000 angels, softening my way to thee. Now I'm filled with the infinite love of spirit. I am filled with the infinite love of spirit, softening my way, softening my way. I am filled with the infinite love of spirit, softening my way to thee. And joy is in my heart, joy is in my heart, joy is in my heart, joy is in my heart. Joy is in my heart, joy is in my heart, joy is in my heart. And again, joy is in my heart, joy is in my heart, joy is in my heart. I am filled with the light of 1,000 angels, softening my way, softening my way. I am filled with the light of 1,000 angels, softening my way to thee. I looked into joy through the UU website, uucm.ca 2020. It has the introduction to joy. So I'm just going to read it. The Jewish religious leader Rebbe Nachman said that the pathway to our true destiny is joy. I love it. True destiny is joy. Joy and enthusiasm are important aspects of the spiritual path and are needed now more than ever during these uncertain times. So isn't that nice? You know, we have a joyous idea going around. So then this person, somebody named Richard wrote this. So then she talks about a woman named Fiona, who had a colleague named Peggy Clark. And Peggy Clark wrote about an experience. I love this story. She had an experience with joy as a young woman. She was at Bryce Canyon National Park in Utah, known for its astonishing red-orange hoodoo rock formations. And she writes, quote, one night, deep in the dark, we sat on the edge of the canyon talking about the world and the beauty that abounds. I didn't know what time it was, but I knew morning had to be nearby. One of the guys we were with asked if we could just be quiet for a little sat, feet hanging over the edge, in complete silence. And as we sat, the most magnificent, most glorious thing happened. The sun rose. I'm big on sunrises. You want to come to Sarasota, even though it's on the west coast, there's a place. It broke through the darkness in such a grand display of power and grace. I would not have been surprised had the rocks and trees started to sing, Alleluia, which means praise God. So does our picture, brother. Okay. We sat awestruck until we spontaneously broke out in applause, hollering and cheering in gratitude. Joy is not the circumstance, but the response. The sun rises every day, like it or not. Being entranced by it is a choice. There's that choice again, that free will. So Fiona continues. Joy is not in the circumstance, but in the response. As we struggle in worldly uncertainty, sometimes overwhelmed, there is a spiritual truth worth remembering. While we can't always simply choose to feel joy, we can work to cultivate it. We can say, I choose joy. You know, that's it. We can cultivate that belief. But it's not typically automatic. You can have that intention. I have an intention that I live in the context of joy and gratitude. My life is in that context. Even though I might be upset or angry, it's still in that, because life is everything. But to come back to the joy, and that is a choice. Okay, so she says, we can work to cultivate a stance of curiosity and connection that will help us be open to experiencing joy, taking us out of ourselves, binding us to all that is. What's another word for all that is? Spirit. We should not stay always mired in worry. Now that's like praying for what you don't want, because you're visualizing. That's a 4-letter word for me, worry. I like the word concern. I have concern, because that's more solution oriented. Worry is just like, oh, you're going down that rabbit hole. Okay, so she says, we should not stay always mired in worry. This injures our spirits, right? Which it does, because it drags us down. We must continue to seek joy and delight. As Unitarian Universalists, we know life is complex. There is both and. In the dark, there will be moments of light. And in the light, there will be moments of darkness. It's like the yin-yang sign, you know? It's black with a little white, and it's white with a little black. Lean in towards the light. Seek joy. And she says, blessings. So that whole idea of what he said, that it's our destiny. Joy is our destiny. I have a song I wrote back in 2003 that goes with this, and it's called The Light of the Living God. And you can put it whatever word you want in there. I know that's for some people that's a buzzword. But it works. I don't know any other one syllable. It goes like this. I am the light of the living God. lean into those. Abraham would, when Esther and Sarah were getting ready to leave in their big bus, she'd look out the window. She was the driver. She'd look out and she'd see her husband just there, just like milking that moment when you notice, wow, this feels good. Just milk it. So I'm just going to do a couple of quick fun songs that you can sing along with. So just for fun. Okay, so you know how everybody here basically we're all from New Jersey, is that correct? Yeah. We live here now anyway. Well, I live here in the summer. So you know people say, oh, you're from Jersey? Like, who says that? Nobody. And if they do, they're not from here. So I wrote a song called There's No O-I in Jersey. I think I sang it here a couple years ago. So I'll teach you the chorus. It goes like this. There's no O-I in Jersey. There's no O-I in Jersey. It's like, this is how some of us say it. Jersey, Jersey. There's no O-I in Jersey. Let's try it. There's no O-I in Jersey. There's no O-I in Jersey. It's like Jersey. There's no O-I in Jersey. I'm from the Garden State, I'm not from New York. And when we talk like that, we sound like dorks. We got the tailor hair and the sweet roll of pork, but there's no O-I in Jersey. There's no O-I in Jersey. There's no O-I in Jersey. It's like Jersey. There's no O-I in Jersey. Jersey. When we go down the shore, we get to the sea. We got the best tomatoes in humanity. But there's no O-I in Jersey. Come on. There's no O-I in Jersey. There's no O-I in Jersey. It's like Jersey. There's no O-I in Jersey. We got the Ramapo Mountains and the piney wood. We got country roads and suburban neighborhoods. We got the most crowded state in the whole country. But there's no O-I in Jersey. One more time. There's no O-I in Jersey. Boy! There's no O-I in Jersey. It's like Jersey. There's no O-I in Jersey. All right. Doesn't that make you feel good? So, do I have time to do a couple more little short fun?
Yes.
I have time. Okay. Let me see what I got here. Oh. So one of the daily words was laughter. So some of you might know this about me. My mom had a nursery school in our house. We moved into this 6,000 square foot house in Montville, New Jersey. You find this song. And so I basically grew up in a nursery school. And so that's why a lot of my songs are simple. You know, that's what happened to it. It's called, it's called La 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 Laughter. Well, let's see if I can fake it. And it's a call and response. So I was saying, la 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 laughter, la la laughter. I can feel good after, I can feel good after. Raising your vibration, raising your vibration. Ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha. La 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 laughter, la 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 laughter. I can feel good after, I can feel good after. Raising your vibration, raising your vibration. Ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha. And then, been scientifically shown that women typically speak about 2,000 or 3,000 words for every 1,000 words a man. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. So I was in our pool one day. My husband, he didn't really go swimming with me that often in the pool, but whenever I would be in the pool, skinny dipping, he'd be down there like cleaning the pools because we don't have a cage. We just have to out in the open, skimming the pool. And he's really focused on that. And so I swam over to him. I had a question. And I said, I don't remember what the question was, but I asked him a question. It was like I wasn't there. And then I thought, oh, that's right, because he could focus on me. So we're talking about it for it. It's called the male brain. I do recognize. Don't take it first. Listen to the whole song first, guys. Because it's true. Never ask a man a question when he's doing something. Only ask a man a question when he's doing nothing. It's the male brain. It makes me insane. They can't multitask, so I have to wait to ask. Never tell a man a story when he's in his glory. Focusing on one thing and the money that it might bring. It's the male brain. It makes me insane. Multitasking is hell, so I have to wait to ask or tell. So here's what I rectify. I can be conscious, I can be kind. I'm filled with awareness when I'm using my mind. So the male brain helps me choose to refrain from saying every little gosh darn detail that's going on in my brain. Never ask a man a question when he's doing something. Only ask a man a question when he's doing nothing. When he's doing nothing, and nothing is something. Thank you, So we have one more song, and we can stand for this.
Is this our last song?
This is going to be the last one. It's 20 to 12. We're like overtime.
So what we'll do is extinguish the chalice, and then we'll have our circle and whatever song you play is fine.
Well, I'm not going to play it. We're just going to sing it.
Oh, good. Okay.
So why don't everybody? Oh, well, first you're going to extinguish the chalice.
Yes.
I'm going to write a song. I want those words that.
I'm keeping it going.
Okay.
Pat, I'm going to keep this going.
Okay. We extinguish the chalice, but we leave here filled with joy and laughter. And you're definitely one of us, as you said you felt,
I
and you
do.
are. And I would like to give you a big hug.
Oh, thank you.
Now we'll have a closing circle.
So we're just going to sing a song that we all know. Come on, sing if you can.
You're not filming this one. You're not filming the closing ceremony. That's what we're doing.